Hello students, today we shall start with the second chapter, Introduction to C. First we will see the history of C. This is one of the most popular computer languages today. So the most popular language used today is C. It is because it is a structured, high-level, machine-independent language. This C program has a structure, well-defined structure, and you have to write the program in the given structure. You already know what is high-level language. Machine-independent language. This language does not depend upon what type of machine you are using to execute the C programs. Okay, so C is one of the most popular computer languages today because it is a structured, high-level, machine-independent language. C is a programming language developed at AT&T Bell Laboratories of USA in 1972. It was designed and written by a man named Dennis Ritchie. Before the development of the C language, Basic Combined Programming Language, that is BCPL, was used, which was introduced by Ken Thompson. The C language had derived many features from the B language. Therefore, the next version of B language is C language. Okay, so this is all about the history of C language. Since I have told you that C is a structured programming language, we are now going to see the structure of C program. C program can be viewed as a group of building blocks called functions. What are functions? We shall see later on. A function is a subroutine that may include one or more statements designed to perform a specific task. So in front of you now you have the structure of C program. The structure of C program always starts with the documentation section. Next is the link section, definition section, global declaration section, and the most important and compulsory part is the void main function section. Okay, all the C programs should have this section. When we write this void main, we are going to use open and closing curly brackets, which you can see over here. Whatever is included in this opening and closing curly brackets is known as the body of the program. This body of the program consists of two parts, that is declaration part and executable part. Okay, so this is the main function which is compulsory. Then we are going to open this curly bracket, write the program over here, that will be the body of the program, and then closing curly brackets. Logically our program will end with this curly bracket. After that we are going to write the subprogram section. If our program consists of some user defined functions, we will write the user defined functions in the last section, that is the subprogram section. So this is the overall structure of a C program. Now we will see each section in detail. The first section, that is documentation section. The documentation section consists of a set of comment lines giving the name of the program, the author, and other details which the programmer would like to use later. This documentation section, which is the first section of the C program, is only used for documentation purpose. This section is never executed by the compiler. This section is used only to give the details to the others who are reading the program. So what may be the details? The details may be who has written the program, what the program intends to do, that is the question or the name of the program, who has written the program, and other details which the programmer would like to use. Now, since these statements are not executed, we are going to use some symbols for this. Now, for example, here it is given prints welcome to a C programming language. This line has not to be executed by the compiler. Now, how the compiler will understand that this statement is not to be executed? So we have given here a symbol slash and asterisk at the starting of the line, and at the end of the line we have used asterisk and slash. When the compiler comes across such type of symbol at the starting and the end, the compiler will understand that this is a comment line and this line is not to be executed. Okay, so when we want to give multiple lines as a comment line, we are going to use this symbol slash and asterisk. And when we want to make a single line as a comment line, we are going to use this symbol, that is 2 forward slash. Okay, so I hope you have understood about the documentation section. We are going to use this documentation section, but remember that this section is not compulsory. If you want, you can include it. We are going to use it. So as given over here, for example, if you want to write your roll number, we can write roll number and your number, give it a forward slash, which means this line is a comment line and it is not to be executed. Okay, is it clear? Next we'll move on to the next section, that is the link section. The link section provides instructions to the compiler to link functions from the system library. Now what is a system library? Now before I go on to the system library, we will see what is a library. What is a library? A library is nothing but where we have the collection of books. Now when we want to read a book, it is not compulsory that we have to go to the shop and buy that book, read that book. Instead of that, what we can do is we can go to the library, whatever book we want, we can go to the library, take that book, read it and give it back to the library. That is, we can use the book and again give it back. So in the same ways, in the C language, there are some functions which are stored in the system library. Whichever function we want for our program, we will write it in our program. That is, we are going to use that program and give it back to the library. No need for us to write that function. Okay, so some functions are ready-made for us in the C language. We will see later on which are these functions. Now, these functions which we are ready-made for us are stored in system library and in different files. Now, two files which we are going to use for our programs are stdio.h and conio.h. stdio.h means standard input output. Okay, std stands for standard, I stands for input, O stands for output, and .h means it is a header file, which means we have to give this file name at the top of our program. So in the link section, we are going to use such type of statements. The statements are going to start with a hash sign. The sign which you can see over here is the hash sign. Hash include angular brackets, and in this angular brackets we are going to write the name of the header file. These files are in the system library. So we are going to use some standard input output functions. So for that we have to include this file or attach this file to our program. Similarly, we are going to use one more file, conio.h, that is console input output.h or .h means header file. So we are going to write hash include conio.h. So when we are going to write these two statements in our program, we are going to write this below the documentation section. These two files will be compulsory for us. So all the functions which are written in conio.h and stdio.h, we can use these functions in our program. So whichever functions you want to use, you should know the name of the file in which it is stored. For example, if we want to use some complicated mathematical functions, we have to include hash include math.h. Okay, so all the complicated ready-made functions are stored for you in math.h header file. Suppose we want to use some string handling functions, we have the string.h header file. So I hope you have understood the link section. Next we'll move on to the definition section. So if we want to define some special symbols, for example, I have given over here pi. So the value of pi throughout our program should be 3.14. Suppose we are calculating the area of a circle, we will require this constant value pi. So instead of all the time using 3.14, we are going to once define it as hash define pi 3.14. We are going to do this in the definition section. Okay, so wherever in the program we are going to use the constant pi, the compiler will replace the value of pi with 3.14. So in the definition section, we are going to define some symbolic constants. For example, pi. Okay. Next, we'll move on to global declaration section. So this global declaration section comes after the definition section. There are some variables that are used in more than one function. Such variables are called global variables and are declared in the global declaration section, that is outside of all the functions. This section also declares all the user defined functions. We shall see this later on, as we will not require it right now. Next, the most important part, as I have told you earlier in the structure, void main function section. Every C program must have one main function section. So remember that every C program will have only one main function. A program cannot have two main functions. Okay, so every C program must have at least one or only one main function section. This section contains two parts, the declaration part and the executable part. I have told you all earlier that the body of the program, which starts with the curly bracket, okay, and ends with the curly bracket, within this curly bracket we are going to have the declaration part and executable part. The declaration part declares all the variables used in the executable part. Okay, so the variables which we are going to use in our program, we have to declare them. Now what is declaration of variables? I will tell you it in the next lecture. Okay, so declaration of variables is to be done in this declaration part. There is at least one statement in the executable part. So there has to be at least one statement in the executable part. Otherwise the C program has nothing to execute. These two parts must appear between the opening and closing brackets. The program execution begins at the opening bracket and ends at the closing. The closing brace of the main function section is the logical end of the program. All the statements in the declaration and executable part end with a semicolon. So just as we write in English and we end the statement with a full stop, all statements in the C program, that is inside the curly brackets, instead of full stop we are going to use a semicolon. So with this semicolon, the compiler will understand that the statement has ended. Okay, so this is about the void main function section. Next we will see the last part, the subprogram section. Okay, it is not compulsory that all the programs will have this subprogram section. When we are going to use the concept of functions in our program, that is user defined functions, then only our program will have this section, that is subprogram section. The subprogram section contains all the user defined functions that are called in the main function. User defined functions are generally placed immediately after the main function, although they may appear in any order. Next, all sections except the main function section can be absent when they are not required. So I have told you earlier that this main function is compulsory, remaining all the sections are optional. So this is the most important part, structure of C program. We finish over here. Next we'll move on to the last part of today's lecture, that is running and debugging a program. Now what is running and debugging? So first of all, we are going to write a C program in a text editor. We are going to save that program with .c extension. Then we are going to debug it, that is remove the bugs or errors from the program, and then we are going to run it or execute it. So executing a program written in C involves a series of steps: creating the program, compiling the program, linking the program with functions that are needed from the C library, and executing the program. Okay, now we are going to see the creating the program. For creating the program, we are going to write the program in the text editor. We can use any compiler, Turbo C compiler or Borland C compiler. During the compilation of the C program, the compiler translates the source code of the program into machine language. Okay, compilers such as Turbo C or Borland C are available with the IDE. Now what is IDE? Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so we are going to write the C program in this integrated development environment, and we are going to save it. Remember that when saving the program, we are going to give the extension .c. If you don't give the extension, the compiler by default will take .cpp, that is it will become a C++ program. So you have to write .c. Once you have saved the program, we have to compile the program. Now what is compiling? The compiler translates the source code of the program into machine language. That is, now your English like language program will get converted into zeros and ones, that is binary language or machine language. Okay, before compiling and executing a program, ensure that you have saved it with the .c extension. After creating the program, you can compile the program. Okay, after compiling, suppose if there are any errors, the compiler will show you the errors. You remove the error, make the total program error free, and then you can link your program with the system library functions, and finally you can execute the program to display the output. You can do this for your practicals. Okay, running and debugging a program. So I hope you have understood how to write a C program, how to save it, compile it, link it, and execute it. Thank you.